This is going to be quite a controversial topic to discuss about, but as Doors Floor 2 has been in development for well over a year, many players within the community have had many expectations and thoughts regarding on how the new floor will turn out for the game, especially with the success of the Hotel Plus update over a year ago. The Doors developers had been hoping for the new floor update to become a massive hit. Well, unfortunately, it wasn't as big as they had hoped. With new statistical evidence and comparing the past of Doors to the present, this is ultimately why Doors Floor 2 failed as a major update for the game. What did you think about the update? Like and subscribe or else they may not be a Floor 3. Going back to January 28th of 2023, Roblox Doors had just published their then new Hotel Plus update, simply being a revamp of the original floor, with many new entities being added and even some new features as well, such as the rooms being inspired by Nico Rocks. The update was a major hit as the game propelled to well over 400,000 players upon the launch of the update, and by 7 AM the next day, the player count was recorded to hit over 236,000 players concurrently. If we fast forward to today, Roblox Doors Floor 2 is now here, but wait. The maximum player count recorded was pretty close to 300,000 according to some in the servers, but by 7 AM, the player count stalled out at a maximum of 180,000, 50,000 players less than the Hotel Plus update. What's even worse is that the game's player trajectory has been declining much faster just 2 weeks after Floor 2 came out, compared to the Hotel Plus update where things stabilized for well over a month before it started to dip. Along with this, massive dislike spikes are going on with the new Floor 2 update as it dropped from a combined total of 93.3% likes down to 93.1%, causing a big downslide in terms of the closeness ratio if we compare that to the Hotel Plus. That update did also gain some dislikes, but not nearly as steep compared to Floor 2's dislike curve. Even further, diving into the players' playtime analytics, we can notice back when Hotel Plus was dropped, players were playing for an average of over 14 minutes per gameplay session when it came out, comparing it to Floor 2, which sat 2 minutes lower at around 12 minutes per gameplay session, despite the floor being longer and more packed. It's even more upsetting at the fact that even the April Fool's Day update for Doors that came out April 2nd, 2024, ended up receiving the highest amount of new visits for the game, being recorded at over 42 million new visits that day. While Floor 2 came out and only 32 million visits were recorded between August 31st and September 1st, a full 10 million visits short of a meme update. The trends just keep agreeing with each other, even with the new favorites feature being recorded at nearly at an all-time low spike, especially for a major update. So what the heck exactly happened? Why would an update that simply featured a floor revamp and even a joke update that was around temporarily outperform a completely new floor update with tons of new models and assets? Well, if we dive deeper into the community, we do get many answers. The first major hit of Doors Floor 2? All of the bugs and glitches. We've explained in the past, mobile players play a big role within the Roblox community, especially as over 80% of Roblox users signed up using a mobile device according to Statista. When the Floor 2 update first dropped, there was a major issue going on specifically for mobile players, as many within the community were documenting that mobile players are not able to play the game due to a random crash. The game would simply try to load as normal before completely crashing the Roblox application. This means it rendered tens of thousands of mobile players being unable to load Doors Floor 2 upon launch. And it was even later discovered that the reason for the crashes was due to a sound file not being compressed by Roblox when loading the game, and in fact, this issue is still going on to this day, even 2 weeks after the update was released. On top of this major crash, many smaller bugs and glitches did end up showing up within the release, with some notable ones being broken generated rooms, causing players to softlock, revive glitches where players would get softlocked at the first seek chase upon use, to even players glitching outside of the map during important events. There was even an item exploit being found where players were able to dupe many items as well, The list of bugs just goes on and on. With such a big percentage of the player base on Roblox being mobile and being affected by the broken sound file crash, of course this will affect the outcome of the update big time when it came to its release. And it was also one piece of the puzzle why Doors Floor 2 ultimately failed. The second major hit of Doors Floor 2, the major difficulty spike. Now, we've explained a lot before why many players within the game were complaining about the difficulty of the new floor, but there's actually even more reasons why that came up. Originally, when the Doors update was first released, entity spawns were very aggressive, with some people experiencing entities such as Halt as early as Door 101, and also dealing with multiple entities all at the same time, such as Eyes, Giggle, and the figure in this one clip. Many within the community were pleading for nerfs, and the developers did end up nerfing the update several days later, though after the nerf, many were now saying that the difficulty of the floor was now a bit too easy, only leaving Room 150 as the most difficult portion of the game. There are also certain sections within Seek Chases where players wouldn't even be able to get past, such as having this one section where they had to both duck and turn at the same time during a blind curve. Many were also saying that the final Seek boss is actually really easy, especially since players can just hop over rocks and models in order to bypass major threats to the players. In short, the floor's difficulty is not correctly balanced compared to Floor 1 that featured a more linear difficulty curve, getting harder as the players get to the end. Yes, the difficulty patches that the developers created did help overall, but it did hurt the initial impact and reputation of the new floor. The third major hit of Doors Floor 2, competition. This one indirectly impacted the success of the Floor 2 update, but while the developers were busy working on the game within the past year, a new horror game did end up taking the spotlight, known as Roblox Pressure. It's a Doors-inspired entity game that is pretty similar, though containing many more features and entities. The game's average playtime has been much higher compared to Roblox Doors, even spiking above 20 minutes played per gameplay session at one point. And many within the community were stating their opinions that Roblox Pressure was a more balanced game, comparing it to Floor 2, but now with the Floor 2 update dropping, it did lower the player count for Roblox Pressure quite a bit, averaging just under 20,000 concurrently daily, but it is new competition that Doors now has to deal with, and especially when Floor 2 dropped, they've had to have lost several hundred thousands, if not millions of visits due to the new competition. Please don't disrespect the developers or anyone else within the video, this is just for educational and research purposes, but what did you think about the update? Like and subscribe, and take care.